Hello Scorpio, welcome to your reading for the 26th of November until the 3rd of December. And it's going to be general, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's welcome in Archangels, Ascendant Masters, Light Beings, Spirit Guides, and of course our higher selves to assist with this reading. And any beings or energies that wish to be present to assist us would be most appreciated, and I'd like to thank them in advance for their presence. Okay, Scorpio. We're going to take a look at what some things you're doing at the moment, or some energies that you're embodying. Let's have a look. Nine of Swords. Okay. There's either some people around you or you yourself are having some stresses at the moment. Let's see. Three of Swords. Okay, so maybe there's someone close to you who's going through a healing process, or this could be you yourself. Okay, let's continue. We're just going to look at your higher self cards now. Or something that's sort of running a little deeper. Right, we have had one flip there. Let's grab that. Oh, where did it go? Here it is. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this is a cycle. Which, you know, sometimes when we go through a healing process, or people close to us go through a healing process, you know, of course it doesn't define us, it doesn't define them, and more often than not, it's temporary for a period of time. So I think your higher self is just reminding you for you to keep that in mind, that it won't always be as it is at the moment, that things will improve, clear, and you know, come to understanding. Here we have the Eight of Wands, and you know what, the high, I don't know whether this flipped during the reading. The High Priestess has also flipped in there, so you know, there's things are moving all the time, Scorpio. Okay, there's a lot of movement, and you know, you can still use your wisdom in this situation, okay? Use your wisdom and your understanding in that things will probably move quite quickly, and maybe this healing will be fairly swift. There could also be some things that are changing around you or within you, and maybe, you know, maybe you're going to be applying your own thought processes, your own emotions, and your own wisdom to understand what's best for you to do in this situation. Okay, let's look at what's happened recently. Thanks, Spirit. Just a couple of cards. Wow. Okay, that one jumped up, didn't it? And the one's flipped here, so let's look at this one first. We have the Four of Wands, so a celebration, okay, and the Four of Cups. So two number fours, so very stable. So you've come into some stability with regard to perhaps your job, your career, your interests, and also emotional. But this is not necessarily emotional stability, actually. It's kind of like things have become, I'm going to say humdrum, but like fairly, I guess, stable or static emotionally. And there's also perhaps, and if that sort of has led to boredom, there's also something else here that's sort of on offer that could potentially lift the vibration or lift your situation in an emotional sense. It's interesting that we have, you know, the air cards here, which is sort of to do with thoughts and beliefs and values, okay? And communication. Like maybe this is stressful communication. Maybe there's a lot of someone close to you going through some stress, or you yourself are Scorpio, possibly. And it's linked here in with this Four of Cups, I think. you could be wondering, you know, is it going to change? And maybe you're looking at this other person or this aspect of your healing and just kind of focusing on that. But it may be worth you looking at something else. By that I mean shifting your focus to perhaps moving into different types of environments, moving into different types of activities, you know, spending time with different types of people, to sort of create a bit more, I wasn't going to say options, but more a greater spectrum of different energies that you can move into that will, you know, maybe either give you respite from this or either give the other person respite from those, from that stress, okay, or from that anxiety. Let's look at what you're hoping for here. The Four of Wands is actually quite positive. The Moon. Yeah, I think maybe you're looking to get clear, looking for some clarity. Sometimes the Moon talks about like a bit of confusion or, yeah. And yeah, and maybe there's a, you know, you're looking for a balance between your subconscious and the conscious. Okay, well, that's there. We have the Sire of Wands and the Sire of Swords. I think that's the King of Wands and the King of Swords. Wow. The Swords are the mind. Okay, and the Wands is almost like the passion or the drives, or almost like it's not necessarily the body, but it can be about action. So this might be that what you're hoping for is here, Scorpio, is a balance between thoughts and action. So maybe at the moment you are kind of overwhelmed with thoughts and maybe other people's issues or your own issues. Your subconscious is kind of saying, you know, start doing some movement. This is like wands or action. Start doing movement. You know, that might even be just exercise. Okay, look at this person here. It's a full body kind of action, right? So maybe this is about, you know, taking some action here, Scorpio, doing something that will help to alleviate the mind stuff that could be potentially going on in your situation at the moment, if that resonates, you know. And sometimes when we, you know, shift frequency and get better balance in our mind-body kind of connection, that can also help us to alleviate, like, I guess, mood states that are a bit like maybe boredom or inertia, you know, low motivation, that type of thing. You have wands in like these 3 points here, so Four of Wands as well. Okay, that's also to do with action, but celebratory action. So yeah, lifting the mood, having some fun. Okay, and maybe that has happened recently, but now there's sort of a bit of boredom is set in. We're going to just grab from this tarot here some possible, like, this could be possible outcomes. Okay. Priestess of Earth Guardians. So I'm going to interpret this one as the Page of Pentacles. Okay, which is about having a learning mindset. Okay, and really grounding, like earth, grounding. Once again, coming into the body, Scorpio. Okay, it's a possible outcome from you seeking balance. On top here, we have loving compassion. Okay, so, you know, moving into self-love, self-care. And I think, you know, if you're holding space for someone else here, you are kind of, you know, you're helping them through their healing process, or you're helping yourself through the healing. But if it's becoming overwhelming, you know, perhaps going in nature with this person would be really helpful, or for yourself, okay? And the element of water, this is really gorgeous. Dolphins. The dolphin whale consciousness could be something really lovely to tap into using the element of water, which is very healing and flowing as well. So whether this is a connection within you or with another person, it's looking like the outcome is that if you can ground out and stuff, it's that the connection will become positive and, you know, will flourish, and, you know, it will sort of develop into something really awesome. Okay. Wow. 2 cards jumped out. This is spirit guidance. Deep dive, 4 of portals, as above, so below, temperance. Yeah. And what I'm getting from this is that temperance, this is spirit guidance, is about moderation, balance, some self-discipline, you know, having your own back, and doing the right thing by yourself, getting a nice balance between the mind and the body stuff, as above, so below, and just this whole thing about being connected to spirit, connected to your higher self, but also grounded, connected to your body, connected to the earth. And here we have this beautiful deep dive. We mentioned the element of water there. This is the 4 of portals, which I'm not sure if this is... There's some suit that this is equated to, but we're just going to go with the visuals on this, because look at that water. It's like diving into water. Okay, the element of water, spirit's saying yes. Okay, and sometimes if we go swimming, it can feel like we're going into a portal. Okay, or any experience that you feel here, Scorpio, for you or this other person, that's going to shift the whole frequency, change your perspective, change, you know, the focus. Okay, is going to be really helpful. And yes, look, we'll look at the bottom of the deck here, and here we have beautiful vines, priestess of portals, which once again I think is like the page equivalent. Yeah, as I said, I'm not sure about the suits, but this is like very green nature. Okay, going out in nature, you know, that type of thing is going to be really helpful. Page of Wands, you also have on the bottom of this deck, which is really activating your passions, Scorpio. Okay, remembering to do that, because this could be overwhelming for you, okay, and the other person. Don't forget to, you know, have some fun. You've got lots of fire in your reading here, so, you know, really activating that element for yourself. 5 of Cups. This can be, once again, about focusing on the negatives rather than the positives, because there are 2 upright cups here that probably contain, you know, something nice. So once again, this is about choice point of focus. The 4 of Cups is very similar. These dragons here kind of looking at the 3, but they're not seeing the 4th cup there, I think. Or they're sort of sleeping, so they're not, yeah, they're not seeing that other cup. Let's clarify the 9 of Swords and the 3 just to see. Okay, well, the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. Once again, this is about balance and focus. It's about remembering here, Scorpio, that whilst you may be giving your time and attention and resources and help someone else, it's about knowing that you need to also be allowing yourself some time, energy, attention and resources directed towards your well-being. And this person is actually sort of focusing here on what makes them happy, their passion. They're able to sustain a nice lifestyle. They have, you know, yeah, it depends on which, you know, if you want to be giving the 5 away and keeping the 3, or, sorry, that's 6, isn't it? Yeah, you want to be keeping the 6 and giving away the 3, or having the 3 for yourself and giving away the 6. But the moral of the story here is that if you're dealing with a lot of head stuff with someone else, it's really important to, you know, take care of yourself as well. Let's clarify that the bottom stack there, Wheel of Fortune, Eight of Wands, and the Empress, and that's jumped out on top of there. So, yeah, one card. Ace of Swords, really nice. Getting some clarity, Scorpio, being clear. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you have this Eight of Wands. There's a lot of movement. Things are happening. Things are in flux. And maybe there's a lot of things you feel you're responsible for, and things you've got to be considering and all that. It's about taking time out to have times of focus on simplicity. Okay, this is clarity and simplicity of mind, higher consciousness. And higher consciousness is not necessarily about being able to do lots of things at the same time, like a super dude, okay? Higher consciousness is about the opposite of that. It's about not thinking and doing lots of things at the same time. It's about quieting the mind and stilling the mind to the point where you're just really tuning in to your inner self, okay? You're just feeling that direct higher self connection, focusing on your breath and just feeling the inner peace. Okay, and this is what the High Priestess, I think, is here to remind you of as well, Scorpio. Is like, don't forget your own inner peace, and it's always there. Okay, we can always access it. It's just knowing. We need to know for ourselves, how frequently we need to access it, for how long we need to do that, and over a span of a week or two or a month. If we're dealing with a lot of stress, maybe we need to access it more to kind of cope with that extra stress that's coming in. So meditation could be something that you will be looking at here. We're going to clarify the Four of Cups and the Four of Wands. It'd be interesting if the Four of Swords comes out, wouldn't it? Because the Four of Swords is indeed about stilling the mind. No, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this could be about remembering to turn around and smell the roses to some extent. It's about really looking to see what's on offer. Are there other things around you, Scorpio, that, could potentially help the situation? And once again, this is looking like someone's going through some healing as well. Okay, but there is light on in this church here, or this building. So they're just walking past. They're not kind of thinking that, there's some people there, we could ask for help, or can we go in? Maybe there's something else. I'm just going to grab another one for that. The Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, once again, reminding you, Scorpio, this is a cycle. Okay, and the other thing too is that choice point and this idea of balancing attention to others and attention on ourselves, that's also a cycle, isn't it? Like, we might be putting all our focus towards someone else, but then we need to, move out of that energy and move into the other energy of looking after ourselves and putting our time and energy into ourselves. Okay. Scorpio, you are an intense kind of water sign, which means that you are quite emotional, intense. And if someone's going through some intensity, you're probably going to be feeling that with them, or certainly feeling it yourself. Okay. Let's clarify the Moon, the Sire of Swords, and the Sire of Wands, which is the King of Swords and the King of Wands. This could be talking about aspects of yourself here, Scorpio, clarified by the Queen of Wands. So she is on about this strong idea of interdependence, of being able to delegate and oversee things, but also about doing things her way, on her terms, and being able to manage that within the bigger scheme of things. And also, once again, this element of fire here, Scorpio, for you to kind of activate. It's also saying that, you have masculine aspects in your subconscious, but also to remember to allow the divine feminine in, and to really allow yourself time to not feel like you have to do and project your energy out. Okay. Right. So we're going to just grab, I'm going to grab a fairy. Oh, this reading's gone on a little bit longer. Let's grab a couple of these for the center. Once again, just to remind you, your spirit guidance here is to maybe use the element of water, Scorpio, which is your element, okay? And to remember that, you know, as above, so below, this idea of temperance and balance, you know, that theme seems to be pretty pervasive throughout your reading here. Three of Summer, which I think is the Three of Cups, which is, you know, once again about joy and celebration. It says, news worth celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduations or births, friends you cherish. And that's really cool. Like, I had a feeling with this reading, Scorpio, that it's, whilst you might be feeling a bit of anxiety, I think it's more about stress of someone close to you. So this is just to remind you that, you know, there is probably someone that you care about, that you are kind of helping at the moment. And here we have the Prince of Spring, or I think this is it could be the Knight of Wands or the Page of Wands. Charming, self-confident, passionate and restless, and that could be you, Scorpio, okay? Immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage, a passionate relationship. So maybe this is someone close to you. But once again, this element of fire, and there's a challenge that you are up for here that you can successfully manage, as we have mentioned throughout this whole reading. Just a quick reminder also to ground and center yourself in nature. The bottom of the deck, wow, justice. Yeah, justice will be served, which means that for you to remember, you know, the healing process is cyclical. Wheel of Fortune's doubled up in this reading. So, you know, just, yeah, remember that. On the bottom here, we have the Ace of Autumn, which is a beautiful Ace of Pentacles, okay? Element of Earth once again. A windfall of money, advice or assistance from others. A very successful project, a happy change in your career. And, you know, I mean, I guess this could even be talking about a change in career, or maybe there's, you know, something about your career that's kind of turning into, you know, like a Four of Cups here. You know, and to remember that if you feel you need to change work or career, that, you know, it's, once again, it's a cycle. Things can change. There's a lot of movement here, okay, a lot of things in flux. And, you know, it's up to you to, Scorpio, use your intuition, which you know, is, you know, everyone has intuition. Using the element of water, maintaining your balance, and, yeah, connecting with nature too. Yeah, I hope that's been helpful. I look forward to our next reading. In the meantime, have a great day, great week, and I'll see you again soon.